Well, let's talk about this now with our guests. With me now, our Cut to the Chase podcast host and former Democratic Nassau County Executive Laura Curran, and Washington Examiner correspondent and Fox News contributor Byron York. Thank you both for joining me.
Hello.
Thank you.
Byron, let me start with you. President Biden came out Friday evening, condemned this ruling. He said, interestingly, not only would it take women back 150 years, he also said it was taking away a right. It was an example, a rare example, not limiting a right, but actually taking away a right. A lot of people would disagree with that. A lot of people would say that actually it was the 73 ruling that found a right that didn't exist in the first place. What's your view?
Well, the president did kick off the 2022 midterm Roe campaign in his remarks, and you're right about the taking away a right, because this ruling, while it was stunning because it actually happened, was not stunning in its content. For anybody who has followed thinking on the right for the last 50 years, this ruling is kind of a distillation of what we've seen, with the basic point being that abortion is obviously not an enumerated right in the Constitution, and it's not in the Constitution at all. This is something that has been just a commonplace on the right, and we've had 50 years of fighting from pro-life forces who, for the first 20 or so years, from 1973 to Casey in 1992, basically beat their head against the wall and failed to overturn Roe. After that, they turned to actually trying to limit abortion around the edges with things like parental consent laws. And then, frankly, this victory was cemented really by two people. One, Mitch McConnell, who held open a Supreme Court seat in 2016 after the death of Antonin Scalia, and two, Donald Trump, three of whose appointees to the court made up half of this 6-3 majority.
In the end, isn't it, as the justices said, it's a political decision? Shouldn't it be a political decision? Why should it have the status of constitutional law when, as Byron said, there's nothing about it in the Constitution? What's wrong with letting the voters decide, in state by state, what they want the proper rules, the laws to be?
I mean, you make a good case about states' rights, but there was something that I found kind of contradictory with the Supreme Court decisions this week. So when it comes to Roe, states' rights, it's all about states' rights, that's fine. But then when it came to guns, you know, the famous New York case about carrying guns for those who were permitted to carry them, then, you know, the state really, that right is taken away from the state. So it seems like there's a little contradiction there in the court about its philosophy.
Well, but if I may say so, Laura, the right to bear arms is an enumerated right in the Constitution, and in the Second Amendment. There's no right to abortion in the Constitution.
Well, that's true. I wouldn't argue with that. It's not written about abortion, for sure. It is written, one could interpret, about the right to privacy. And I'm getting, when you talk about the politics of it, I am getting in my inbox a lot of fundraising appeals from Democratic candidates all over the country on this issue, because according to the polling, close to 2/3 of the population is actually against overturning Roe v. Wade.
What do you think will now have, it now goes back to the states. We've already seen some states immediately after the decision, Missouri, I think, immediately saying they would move to essentially ban abortion in all exceptional circumstances. How do you think this is going to work now? And we're starting to see, by the way, companies starting to say, well, they will pay for their employees to cross state lines to go and get an abortion. How do you think it's going to work in practice? Just briefly, if you would, Laura.
I think it's going to be interesting. I think abortion is going to continue to be a huge issue all the time now in state elections. And it's not an issue that's going to go away. It was settled law for a while, but now I think it's going to be in our faces a lot going forward because of this.